everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for this very brief overview about trends in insurance in 2026. Very exciting topic. My name is Monique Hesseling, and I'm Red Hat's global lead for the insurance industry business. I have with me, I'm very happy to have with me, Dr. Richard Harmon, who is our global lead and vice president over the financial services industry. And we're very happy to be here with you all and spending a couple of minutes on what we see on trends in insurance and what's happening in technology. So thank you for joining us. Richard, welcome.
Thank you. And it's so nice to have our global lead in insurance to sort of share insights. So let's kick off the conversation. What do AI is impacting every industry and every vertical in every industry. So what's going on in insurance in the AI space that you find really interesting?
Yeah, I guess we have to talk about AI, right? It's the big topic of the era that we find ourselves in. A couple of things. First of all, there are obviously, as you know, and everybody knows, different types of AI. And anything that deals with predictive is the core business of insurers. They have been doing that in whatever way or form since insurance started hundreds of years ago. So the good news is that as an industry, insurance is very familiar with models, with predictions, with some of the core principles of what a lot of AI is all about. Having said that, where we see a lot of activity right now is more, of course, on the generative AI, starting into agentic AI space. And I recently was at a couple of really big conferences, and I tried to understand what insurers are doing. And what I learned is that most of the large ones have run about 60 to 200 seems to be the sweet spot of proof of concepts around AI this year and last year, of which they would like to move forward in production with between 10 or 30. And the topics that they were working on were, to a high degree, operational efficiency, processes, automating of processes, etc., redefining workflows. The other one was customer experience, customer self-service, bespoke individualized marketing materials and offerings. And the final one, which is also the most tricky one, is anything around underwriting and claims. So those are sort of the three big buckets where we see insurers doing a lot of work and moving out of the proof of concept phase into the how to operationalize this phase.
Okay. What do you like? These are great, big, chunky use cases, right?
Yeah.
That it's fundamental to their business. What kind of roadblocks are they coming across when they're trying to implement
Yeah,
AI?
unfortunately, as always with big new things, there are roadblocks, right?
Mhm.
One is lack of a foundation, lack of a common foundation to do new initiatives on, and that's where we come in often to help them, of course, because a lot of those proof of concepts are targeted and focused in a specific business function or in a specific IT environment. Now you see CIOs, CTOs looking at, well, how do we pull all of this together without having to manage that good old spaghetti, infrastructure that we all remember from days past, and we don't want to go back there. So that is one big roadblock. The second one is scalability. We are successful in proof of concepts and small, focused initiatives, but in order to get institutionalized in organizations, that takes a lot more. And to a degree, it's also a people and culture issue. People are not always willing and able to wholeheartedly embrace and support new technology or new processes. So that is a big one. There is some regulatory concerns or pressures, and I'm a big fan of regulations in this space. I think we actually need it as society. But for insurers who have data and insights and take decisions that are very core to people's being and companies' being, it is critically important that they are transparent and that they can explain every decision they take around underwriting and claims. And that can be a little bit difficult in certain AI applications. So that is an area that is considered to be a roadblock. And last but not least, data. Insurance is an industry that requires a lot of data from different sources in different formats. If we have people taking every decision, they make a judgment call on what is acceptable data, what is good data, what can I use for what. The moment that you have machines do that with limited human supervision, you have to be 100% certain that the data is accurate enough for the purpose and that you can use it in the way how you intend to use it. So those are sort of some of the key roadblocks. They're fixable, I think, but it will take a little bit of time, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. No, great. I see that in other sectors of FSI as well, but insurance is, as you know, we've just discussed, in many cases more heavily regulated in these kinds of things because of the nature of the business. So
yeah, I mean, if you
fantastic.
have
Yeah,
health data, financial data about people, where they live, who they live with, insurance companies know an awful lot about their customers, and they should treat their data, of course, very carefully. That's
yeah. Okay. Okay. So last question, and this is now put your visionary hat on. What do you see for this year? 2026. What do you see in terms of what are insurers actually going to do with AI, and the areas that you think that they'll focus on that'll be have a material benefit even past this year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there are. I think that operationalizing of those proof of concepts and that is going to be critically important. Now we know what works, what doesn't work. How can we institutionalize it and create value out of some of those proof of concepts? Depends a little bit on where you are in the world. There are some different priorities. Operational efficiency and cost management is always a very big one in the Americas. So there will be a lot of focus on that, process efficiencies, etc. Customer experience and individualized customer approaches is another very big area. I personally think that, with the exception of fraud, the whole claims and underwriting area will be slightly behind the customer experience and the operational efficiency for reasons we spoke about earlier. And I do see, which I think is very exciting, I do see insurers start to dabble in agentic, which is obviously the next step after we operationalize what we already did over the last couple of years. I think that they're very exciting times. I think it's a great time to be in insurance as a business. I personally am a strong believer about the societal function that insurance has, and I think that could be even more powerful if we all deploy the technologies that we have appropriately and accurately. So,
Wonderful. Those are fantastic insights. I learned a lot. I appreciate you sharing your views, and thank you very, very much.
well, thank you very much, Richard, and thank you for everybody who is listening. We hope to talk to you all soon again. And for now, also on behalf of Richard and the whole Red Hat team, we wish you a wonderful 2026. Thank you very much.